Dear students, we can continue with our nephrons. So, in that lining of the nephrons. So, we have already discussed that the outer layer of the nephron is composed of simple squamous epithelium. Then the proximal convoluted tubule is lined by cuboidal or low columnar epithelium. Then the cells which line the cells which forms lining for this proximal convoluted tubule is having microvilli and numerous mitochondria in their structure. But in the loop of Henle, which is lined by low cuboidal or squamous epithelium. But in case of DCT, that is distal convoluted tubule, it is lined with the cuboidal cells. But this cuboidal cells which forms lining of the DCT is devoid of microvilli, which is not having any microvilli in their structure as in case of DCT, distal convoluted tubule. But in the case of PCT, it is having microvilli and numerous mitochondria. Then coming to the collecting tubules, they are lined with the cuboidal or low columnar cells. Then next we can move on to the blood vessels, the third main part of the nephron, that is blood vessels. First one, the renal artery, after entering the kidney, divides repeatedly. So the renal artery will provide blood supply to the kidney. So after entering into the kidney, that renal artery gets divided into numerous. Okay, so that will divides repeatedly. Okay, then functionally there are two sets of arterioles and capillaries. So functionally we can divide this arteries into two sets of arterioles and capillaries. The first capillary system present in the glomeruli, and it is concentrated exclusively with the removal of waste products from the blood, and it does not supply oxygen to the renal tissue. So the initial capillary system that is presented in the glomerulus, that is associated or that is consisted in the glomerulus, and that is exclusively associated with the removal of the waste products from the blood, but it is not having any function related to the oxygen supply to the kidney tissues. Okay, so it is only associated with the excretion of the waste products from the blood. Then the second set of capillaries. Okay, second set of capillaries which consist both of arterioles and capillaries present around the tubule are concerned with the exchange of gases. So the second set of the capillaries are concerned with the exchange of gases. So the first, there are mainly two sets of arterioles and capillaries that can be divided into two based on their function. So the initial set of capillaries are concerned with the excretion of the waste products from the blood, while the second set of the capillaries are concerned with the supply of oxygen into the renal tissues. Then correlation of structures and functions of nephrons. Next we can discuss regarding different functions of different parts of the nephrons. First one, glomerular capsule. Glomerular capsule function as filtration of molecules and water from the blood. Its main function is filtering molecules, excess molecules and water from the blood. Then function of the proximal convoluted tubule is selective reabsorption of many substances from the glomerular filtrate. So in the glomerular filtrate, after filtration through the glomerulus, glomerular filtrate will be get, and from this glomerular filtrate, this PCT, that is proximal convoluted tubule, helps in selective reabsorption of some of the electrolytes such as glucose, amino acids, then ions like sodium, chloride, etc. Then loop of Henle. What is the function of loop of Henle? Loop of Henle creates an hypertonic environment in the medulla to facilitate water reabsorption by collecting it. So the main function of loop of Henle is water reabsorption from the collecting duct. Then DCT. DCT is the distal convoluted tubule. So its main function is selective reabsorption of the ions, mainly sodium bicarbonate. So the DCT or distill convoluted tubule helps in the selective reabsorption of the ion, mainly sodium bicarbonate, and also it having the ability for secreting the hydrogen ions. So the DCT themselves can secrete the hydrogen ions, and additionally to that it can reabsorb the sodium bicarbonate. The next is the function of collecting duct. So what is the function of collecting duct? Final concentration of the urine. So finally the urine, before entering the urine into the bladder, the urine will be reaching the collecting duct, isn't it? So in the collecting duct, the final concentration of the urine will be happen. So the permeability of the collecting duct is controlled by antidiuretic hormone. So this final concentration is happening with the help of one hormone known as antidiuretic hormone or ADH. Okay, that is vasopressin. This hormone dilution of urine depending upon the functional requirements. Absence or deficiency of ADH is characterized by excretion of large volume of dilute urine. So if there is any variation in the quantity of ADH, sometimes there may be absence or deficiency of this vasopressin hormone or ADH. So what will happen is there will be excess excretion of the diluted urine. Okay, so more fluid loss will be happening for the patients. That condition is known as diabetes insipidus. So there will be excess excretion of the diluted urine, which is known as, that condition is known as diabetes insipidus. Then what is juxtaglomerular apparatus or JGA? So this juxtaglomerular apparatus is nothing but a part of the DCT, that is distal convoluted tubule, and a part of the afferent arteriole of the glomerulus lying close together are modified to form a structure known as juxtaglomerular apparatus. So here it is a cluster of DCT and a part of afferent arteriole of the glomerulus. So both of these structures lies very close together and they are known as juxtaglomerular apparatus. Okay. The wall of the DCT at the site shows densely packed columnar cells forming a macular densa. So this area, that is at this JGA, juxtaglomerular apparatus, DCT walls form densely packed columnar cells. So that portion in which the columnar cells gets densely packed is known as macula densa. Then the smooth muscle cells in the wall of afferent arterioles are modified to form juxtaglomerular cells, while there are some of the smooth muscle cells in the afferent arterioles which are modified to form at this area or at this juxtaglomerular apparatus area. That smooth muscle cells gets modified to form juxtaglomerular cells. Then the macula densa and juxtaglomerular cells together form the juxtaglomerular apparatus. So we discussed what is macula densa and what is juxtaglomerular cells. So this both structure, this macula densa and juxtaglomerular cells together form a juxtaglomerular apparatus. So this is the juxtaglomerular apparatus. It is the cluster of both macula densa and juxtaglomerular cells. And what is the main function? It is having an important role in the renin-angiotensin mechanism and control of blood pressure, isn't it? So renin is an important hormone or angiotensin is an important hormone which is having an important role in the BP, blood pressure regulation. So this juxtaglomerular apparatus is having an important role in our renin-angiotensin mechanism, which is essential for the blood pressure regulation. So that is all about the nephrons and juxtaglomerular apparatus. Then regarding blood supply, nerve supply, lymphatic drainage and all, that all are same as that of kidney. So blood supply, nerve supply, lymphatic drainage are all